sponsored by Stonefly, one-stop provider of enterprise cluster servers, storage, hyper-converged HCI backup, and disaster recovery systems and cloud for your IT needs. Okay, so are you ready to dive in? Today, we're looking at Niantic, the company behind Pokémon GO. And get this, they're splitting up into two totally separate companies.
Huge news, right?
Huge. And one half is being acquired by, wait for it, Scopely.
The mobile gaming giant, yeah.
Yeah, so Pokemon GO's getting a new home, basically.
It is.
I know, change can be a little scary.
Oh, absolutely.
But before you, totally freak out, we're going to break it all down for you. We'll figure out what it means for you if you're a player. We'll figure out why Niantic decided to do this. It's kind of a surprise, to be honest.
It's a really interesting turn of events, especially when you think about Niantic's, whole history. They started as this tiny little team inside Google.
Oh, wow.
Almost 10 years ago now.
Wow.
And their big idea was to blend digital stuff with the real world, mix them together.
That's a big idea, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, back then, that was kind of revolutionary, right?
It really was. Using your phone to, actually do stuff in the real world, it wasn't really a thing yet.
No, not really. It was very new.
And their first big attempt to make that happen was, of course, games.
Games, right.
Games are really good at getting people engaged, getting them moving, getting them to connect with each other.
Yeah.
It's a powerful medium.
And they hit the jackpot with Pokemon GO.
Yeah.
Right? It exploded.
That was huge.
It was huge. A global phenomenon practically overnight.
Practically overnight, yeah.
Millions of players all over the world.
Yeah.
And they were walking billions of miles.
Billions. It's crazy. All because of this game that encouraged you to go outside and explore and meet people.
That's amazing.
It really is. It wasn't just about catching Pokemon. It was about community. People were getting together for these raids.
Right.
They were going to live events.
Oh, yeah.
And they were seeing their cities in totally new ways. And, those events actually brought in over $1 billion to the host cities.
$1 billion. That's crazy.
It's a real impact on the real world.
That's a huge impact. But here's where things get really interesting. So as Niantic grew, they started evolving in two different directions at the same time.
It's true. It's like they were splitting in two.
Kind of, yeah.
On one side, you have this super successful game division. Pokemon GO, Pikmin Bloom, Monster Hunter now, all these hits.
Pumping them out.
Bumping them out, yeah. And then on the other side, they were going deep into technology. Augmented reality, AI, geospatial technology. This really cool, cutting-edge stuff.
So it's like they had these two engines running, powerful engines,
yeah,
each with a ton of potential.
Exactly. And that's where Scopely comes in. They see this gaming division, and they're like, we want that. And they pay a lot of money for it, $3.5 billion, plus another $350 million in cash. That's a serious investment. It shows how much they believe in these games. And I think it also shows something else. Niantic didn't just want to get rid of the successful part of their business. They had a plan. They wanted to focus on these two different futures separately.
That's really interesting. Okay, but let's be real. What does this mean for Pokemon GO players? I think a lot of people are probably a little nervous about this.
I think that's totally understandable. Whenever a game you love changes hands, you get nervous. But Scopely has been very upfront about what they want to do. They want to support Pokemon GO. They want it to keep growing. They want to make it the best it can be with more features, more events, more ways to connect with friends.
So not messing with it too much, basically.
Basically.
I think that'll make a lot of players happy.
I think so, too. In fact, Ed Wu, he's the head of Pokemon GO, he said that they're really committed to the community and to the long-term vision for the game.
That's good to hear.
It is. But remember, this split also lets Niantic really focus on this other thing they're passionate about, geospatial technology.
Which is where Niantic Spatial Inc. comes in, right? Exactly.
This brand new company, all about pushing the boundaries of geospatial AI. And they're not messing around either. They've already got $250 million in funding, a lot of it from Niantic itself, and $50 million from Scopely.
Wow, they're serious about this.
They are. They really believe in this technology. They believe that geospatial technology isn't just about maps anymore. It's about spatial intelligence. It's about changing how we interact with the world.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
It is. And it gets even crazier. Niantic isn't just building a better map. They're building a world model.
A world model? What does that even mean? Can you explain that?
Sure. Think of it like a digital twin of our world. But it's not just a picture. It's not just visual. This model captures the context of things, how things relate to each other, how things work, how people move, How spaces are used, it's very detailed.
Okay, I'm starting to see the big picture here. It's fascinating. But how did they even get to this point? This is really complicated technology.
It is. It's a huge leap. But here's the thing. A lot of the groundwork for this world model came from their games, especially Pokémon GO.
Wait, so catching Pokemon helped pave the way for cutting-edge AI?
It's more connected than you might think. Think about the tech behind Pokémon GO. They had to figure out how to put virtual creatures into real-world places using your phone's camera. They had to map environments, understand different kinds of terrain, figure out how lighting and weather worked.
That's true. I never thought about it like that.
They were basically building a spatial understanding engine without us even realizing it.
Wow.
Exactly. And all that data, all those interactions, all those lessons they learned from building Pokemon Go, it all went into this incredibly powerful platform called the Niantic Spatial Platform.
Okay, so that's the secret weapon.
You could say that. It combines spatial computing, extended reality, GIS, and AI. It's all working together to make these super immersive experiences that blend the digital and physical worlds seamlessly.
They're not just aiming for accuracy either. They're
Right.
talking about centimeter-level precision.
It's crazy.
It's wild. But the best part is that they're not just using this for games anymore.
That's the really exciting part. They're using it in all kinds of industries: manufacturing, logistics, tourism, education. Imagine using augmented reality powered by this platform to guide workers in a factory or to manage inventory in a huge warehouse.
Or imagine being a tourist and having an app that gives you personalized recommendations, shows you where to go, and tells you about the history of the places you're seeing, all in AR.
Exactly. And then there's education. Students could learn about history by interacting with virtual objects and environments.
Right on top of real-world locations.
Right. The possibilities are almost endless. It's really amazing, the potential. And a lot of this tech is already being used in their games. Their VPS, the visual positioning system, and their computer vision stuff are really important parts of Pokemon Go, Ingress, Peridot.
So those games are like testing grounds, real-world testing grounds for all this cutting-edge tech.
You got it. They've been gathering tons of data, refining algorithms, really pushing the limits of what AR can do. Not many companies can do that.
Right. And then there's that app, what's it called? Scaniverse, the one that lets you make 3D models of places just with your phone.
Oh, yes, Scaniverse, that's powered by this crazy tech Gaussian splatting. It lets you capture and create these 3D spaces so fast, so accurately. Like having a 3D scanner in your pocket.
It sounds futuristic.
It kind of is.
And hundreds of thousands of people are using it already every month. It shows you how accessible this tech is becoming, how it's becoming part of our everyday lives. But wait, there's more. Niantic Spatial is working on something even bigger, a large geospatial model.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Think of it like, those large language models, the LLMs, but give it a spatial dimension. Give it a real understanding of the physical world.
So it's not just words. It's places, spaces, how they all connect.
Exactly. And this model lets people and machines understand and move through the world in a whole new way. It can analyze massive amounts of spatial data, find patterns, make predictions, even generate new insights about the world.
Well, that's heavy. But what does it actually do? How is it different from a regular LLM?
Okay, so first off, it's built on this giant database, over 30 billion images. And these aren't just random pictures. They're specifically chosen to teach the model about real-world environments.
It's not just random stuff from the internet.
No, it's carefully curated to teach it all the nuances of how things work spatially.
So it's not just seeing a chair. It's seeing a chair in a park versus a chair in a restaurant, knowing the difference.
Exactly. It gets depth, distance, scale, even the flow of movement in a space.
Like it's learning to see the world the way we do.
It's getting there. And this is a game changer for robotics, self-driving cars, urban planning. Imagine a car that can navigate a busy intersection, not just by seeing the lights, but by understanding what other drivers are doing based on their movements, their position.
That's crazy. Or think about disaster relief. This model could use data from drones, satellites, and figure out the safest routes for rescue teams.
Absolutely. It's a completely new way of thinking about and using spatial data, and Niantic is leading the way.
It's really exciting. Okay, but can we go back to the split for a second? I think some people are still worried about Pokemon Go under Scopely. Should we be worried?
I get it, I do. But Honestly, I think this could be good for the game. Scopely knows mobile gaming. They're good at it. And
Yeah.
they know how to build communities.
Yeah, they've got some big games, and they know how to do live events, keep people engaged.
Exactly. And the whole Pokemon Go team is staying. These are the people who made the game. They get it. And Scopely knows that. They're going to let them keep doing what they're good at.
So it's not like some outsiders are coming in and taking over.
Yep. And actually, having Scopely's resources and expertise could lead to some cool new stuff for the game.
So instead of the end of an era, it's like a new chapter for Pokemon Go.
I think that's a much better way to look at it. Change is scary, but it can be a good thing. It can lead to growth.
Maybe we'll even see some crossovers. Scopely's other games and Pokemon Go.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. Both companies understand brands, intellectual property. They can do some fun stuff. But even bigger than that, I think this move has implications beyond just games.
You're talking about Niantic Spatial, that geospatial technology.
Yeah, exactly. Even though they're splitting the games and the tech, they're not totally separating. Niantic Spatial is going to keep running two of Niantic's AR games, Ingress Prime and Peridot.
Right, so those games become like showcases for their tech, proving grounds for new ideas. It's a win-win.
It's smart. They get to keep pushing boundaries, but they still have a connection to the games that got them here. Shows that innovation can come from anywhere. It also shows they're not afraid to take risks. I mean, who would have thought a game about catching virtual creatures would lead to all this amazing spatial technology?
It's pretty incredible when you think about it. It's a testament to their vision, their willingness to think differently.
And it makes you wonder about the future. How are games going to evolve as the lines between the digital and physical worlds get blurrier?
Yeah, what's the role of spatial computing going to be in how we live, work, experience the world?
These are big questions. But one thing is for sure. Niantic is at the forefront of all this. They're changing how we understand the world. And it all started with a game that got people off the couch and out exploring.
It's a reminder that innovation can come from the most unexpected places. You just have to look at things differently, be open to change.
I like that.
Yeah.
So to wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm feeling excited and curious.
Me too. Niantic is on a mission to reshape how we relate to the physical world through technology. And they're doing it in a way that's engaging, innovative, kind of magical even.
Like we're on an adventure.
We are. And there's so much more to discover. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's talk about one more thing. Niantic's impact on augmented reality.
AR is at the heart of everything they do. It's how they made Pokemon Go happen, how they're building that spatial computing platform.
And their work with AR has had effects way beyond games. They've inspired so many developers, researchers to explore what this technology can do. They're paving the way for a future where AR is just a normal part of our lives.
It's a whole new way of seeing and interacting with the world.
And that's huge. But let's get into specifics. How has Niantic actually shaped AR?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, well, first of all, they proved that AR can be more than just a gimmick. It can be a powerful tool for engagement, for storytelling, even for social interaction.
Yeah, it's true. Pokemon Go was this huge global thing, and it got millions of people outside walking around, looking at their surroundings in a totally new way. It wasn't just a game, it was like this big social experience.
Exactly, and that social part was a really important part of their strategy with AR. They knew that AR could bring people together, in person and online.
It wasn't just Pokemon Go either. They did the same thing with Ingress, which has this really dedicated community. People are out there collaborating, competing in the real world using their phone.
Right. They showed everyone that AR could be this catalyst for building real communities. It creates a feeling of belonging, like you're part of something bigger. And now a lot of other AR developers are trying to do the same thing.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it. They took something as simple as a game and made it into this platform for social change, for community building.
It shows you how powerful their vision was. They saw the potential of AR to connect people, to make these really meaningful experiences that go beyond the digital world.
And they didn't just stop there. They kept pushing the boundaries of what you could do with AR, technically speaking, like their visual positioning system, their VPS. That's a great example.
Oh, yeah. That allows for these super precise, persistent AR experiences. Virtual objects can be anchored to real-world spots with crazy accuracy.
That's important, right? That precision.
Absolutely. It's key to making AR really immersive, really believable. That's how you can put a Pokemon on a park bench, walk away, come back later, and it's still there.
Like it's really there.
Exactly.
It's like they're blurring the lines between real and virtual. It's hard to tell where one ends and the other begins.
And that's really just the beginning.
Yeah.
Their work with 3D mapping, with understanding spaces in real time, it's opening up so many possibilities. Imagine walking down the street and seeing virtual information layered on top of buildings, historical facts, architectural details, even reviews of businesses.
Imagine using AR to see how a new building would fit into a city before it's even built, or to see the impact of a new road or bridge.
Exactly. There are so many potential uses, and Niantic is leading the way, developing the technology to make it all happen.
It's pretty inspiring to think about how far they've come. They started as this small team inside Google, and they've changed the world of AR. They've created this incredibly exciting future.
It's true, it's inspiring. And they're not slowing down at all. What they're doing with the Niantic spatial platform and the large geospatial model shows that they're just getting started.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Niantic, I'm feeling a sense of awe and a lot of anticipation. Awe at what they've done and anticipation for what they're going to do next.
I agree. They've shown us that the future of technology isn't about building bigger and faster gadgets. It's about creating experiences that are meaningful, engaging, connected to the world around us.
It's about using technology to make our lives better, to bring us closer together, to make us want to explore and discover.
And Niantic is a perfect example of a company that's doing all of that.
So if you need a reason to be optimistic about the future of technology, just look at Niantic. They're proof that innovation can come from anywhere, that even the smallest ideas can change the world.
And that impact often starts with a little bit of curiosity, a willingness to try new things, and a belief that technology can make a difference.
So keep exploring, keep learning, keep pushing those boundaries. You never know, you might be the next Niantic, waiting to unleash your own world-changing ideas.
That's what's so great about all of this. We're all explorers, in a way, constantly finding new possibilities, shaping the future with our ideas and what we do.
And sometimes, all it takes is a game, a spark of imagination, and a deep dive into the unknown to start a revolution.